Welcome to the Four Borders podcast.
Okay, so if you haven't already, then do like and subscribe. Now, this is the Four Birdies podcast. The Michigan Wolverines just won the national championship. They're not splitting it with anybody right here. They don't have to split the title with a single other team. They're the outright champions. The first time in 26 years. Let's go, Michigan Wolverines football. Dave, how do you feel right now?
I'm stunned. I can't believe it really happened. I've been waiting for this for a long time, and U of M has put themselves in the position to compete for the national championship. And I'm at a loss for words. I can't believe this really happened, because I've gotten my hopes up before only to be crushed. And the fact that they got up big when the game started, and I thought this is too good to be true. And then that lead started to get narrower and narrower. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to find a way to let this game slip through their fingers here. And then I would just be inconsolable. But watched the whole game, couldn't look away. And U of M found a way to get it done. And I'm speechless. I just can't believe this really happened.
Okay, so I want to turn it over to Sean for a second. So Sean moved to Michigan when he was about 17 years old. He grew up in Northern California, so he was a 49ers fan and maybe a Stanford fan. But your dad went to Michigan State. Your mom went to Michigan State, so you're a Michigan State fan.
Yeah, I had buddies that were Cal fans, but I was a Michigan State fan because both my parents went to Michigan State. And
good for you, buddy. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I had my NFL team, and then actually I had both my parents were born and raised in Jackson, Michigan, and been here or there every summer since I was a babe. So Michigan's always been my home.
Yeah, and Jackson is pretty close. It's rather close to East Lansing. I grew up a Michigan State fan as well. My mom went to Michigan State. My uncle, her brother, went to Michigan. My brother went to Michigan State, and then my twin brother went to Michigan. So I'm a house divided, of course. So I root for both teams. Dave and we met each other at Albion College. Now, that's a D3 college if you're not familiar with it. So we didn't go to Michigan or Michigan State, but it represents the state well, and it's really exciting. It's good to see Michigan back on the map, even if the title may only stand for another 8 months.
I want to point something out.
I'm taking the win.
I want to point something out with Harbaugh's post-game conference or trophy acceptance speech. He took the high road. He didn't bring up the fact that people have doubted him. He didn't bring up anything about the scandal. He just said that everybody believed in each other and that they did it as a team. And like I said, he took the high road. He didn't say anything about any of the haters, because U of M's had a lot of haters over the years. And there's a lot of people that wanted U of M to fail.
100%. Yeah. Listening to the
sports talk radio, let the game speak for itself.
Yeah, listening to the sports talk radio, they were doubting him. They were saying this is for the past couple of years. They were saying he can't win it, and they hadn't done it. They had made it to the playoffs, but he's been there before. He's been to Super Bowls. He's been to the Stanford when he was with Stanford. I thought they went to the national championship. He's been with some great teams, so he's been there before.
Yeah, he's proven commodity now. I want to see what happens next. He is not the best or greatest interviewer. I was really looking forward to that post-game interview. Every question he diluted and talked about something else, but thank goodness they didn't bring any of that scrutiny. The suspension games, come on.
Yeah, nobody mentioned that, so that's good. I think at the same time, you're also kind of in shock. He's never won one of these, right? He's been to these. He's never won one. So I think the visualization that we saw J.J. McCarthy going through, I wonder if Jim Harbaugh may also be doing something of the same sort. And let me tell you, it's kind of happened in my own life. When you try to visualize something happening and you manifest it and it actually happens in your real life, it's a bit trippy. So he might have been a bit speechless.
I think Harbaugh's pretty calculated with his responses, and there's probably a reason he's not revealing too much information right now. He's a little dry with his responses, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think he's just soaking in the moment right now, and I think when he needs to be, he can give lots of good sound bites. But right now, he's just going to enjoy this victory.
Okay, so what were some of the turning points of the game? Do you guys recall any of those turning points? I remember there was a 4th and 7 where Washington had the ball about midfield. They went for and they didn't get that, and then it turned it over to Michigan. That was a good defensive stand right there.
I think the play that really cemented the win for U of M was the what was it, an 80-yard reception or 80-yard interception return, got him down to the 5-yard line. I think at that point you knew as a U of M fan that this game is over. Like they did it. Penix just kind of tried to laser it in there. He had an open man, but he tried to squeeze it into a tight window and it got picked off.
It looked like Penix kind of got banged up throughout the game. He was kind of hurt towards the end of it.
Yeah, Penix got banged up quite a bit. So I think in any other game he would have been pulled.
But also that interception coming out of the second half, right? Wasn't that the first play or the second play of the second half? And Will Johnson got that interception. And it was a really, really good interception. I mean, that took a lot of skill. And the fact that he hung on to it and it didn't touch the ground, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. I think I want to just give Washington some credit that first half. It was 17-3 Michigan. That crucial fourth down decision by Michigan on the 39-yard line. Washington's 39. They went for it on a 4th and 3, 4th and 4. It was a long 3-4 yards. They didn't convert. McCarthy rolled out to the right. He missed the wide receiver right. And then Washington got the ball, turnover on downs, marched down the field, scored a touchdown on a 4th and goal. That was huge. And then the momentum shifted because they got the ball in the second half. I think they might have scored a field goal. Gained 10 points right there as the ball came. It was back and forth, chess game. That's when it became intense. And I thought Michigan, defense was doing all they could, but the offense needed to get some first downs. They ended up doing it, and then they made that interception early in the second half, but didn't lead to any points. Didn't he miss a field goal?
Yeah. Oh, no, there was no field. I don't think there's a field goal missed spot.
What a great game.
I will say, as far as a magical season, it was capped off by Blake Corum. He could have declared last year for the draft and decided to come back for one more year, and his sole purpose was, I want to bring a championship to Ann Arbor. For him to, I think he had 2 touchdowns in the game, to cap off his career at U of M with the national championship is just, like I said, it's magical. I'm so happy for him.
27 touchdowns
in 15 games.
It's almost McCaffrey-like. Well,
whoa! Watch out there.
Now, we do have to just kind of soak in this win a little bit and enjoy it, but I also want to talk about, maybe it's premature, the next step for Jim Harbaugh. Is he going to stay the coach of U of M, or is he going to move on to a different position somewhere, maybe in the NFL?
Talking to Sean earlier tonight, he thought it already seemed like a foregone conclusion that he was out the one foot out the door. What do you think about that, Sean? Where's he headed?
Well, the articles. Are you going to believe everything you read? I don't know.
No, not everything, but you had a little lead on something.
He's looking at real estate in Los Angeles right now. He's going to the Chargers. It's a done deal.
Okay, you heard it here first on the Four Birdies podcast. It's a done deal, according to Sean Leakey. He's going to the LA Chargers.
Okay, it's a good story. I don't know how he leaves now. I mean, you just won a championship. Why not try and go for a dynasty and then see what happens? Go for a repeat, right?
I can see him walking away and telling. I feel like the administration has done Jim Harbaugh a little dirty over the years, and I think this could be a funny moment where he just says, you know what, yeah, you had me, you didn't respect it, and I brought you a championship, but now I'm taking off. Good luck with whatever. Because the U of M fans and administration, they weren't always 100% loyal to Harbaugh. A lot of times they questioned like his methods, they questioned his results. They didn't really think he could get it done, and then I think they restructured his contract, which was kind of a slap in the face. So I think if he does go to the NFL, I say he goes to the Patriots. I'm saying he's going to be the next coach of the New England Patriots, and he's going to work with Belichick in some sort of role. Belichick's going to be within the organization, but not a coach anymore. But that's my guess, is he goes to the Patriots.
I think Bill Belichick goes to a different organization if he keeps coaching. But him and Robert Kraft are supposed to meet this week or next, to decide the future. So I love that take. Harbaugh to the Patriots. Can you imagine? That would be great.
If he goes there, then they're going to get a top 3 pick in the draft, and they're going to get a quarterback right there. They have to draft a quarterback, and their defense has already been good. So they're going to get,
if Belichick goes somewhere else.
Well, he's going to go somewhere else. No, I don't think they're going to trade him. I heard that they probably wouldn't trade him. He would just get bought out of his contract. And so, if Jim Harbaugh ends up in that situation, it might take 2 to 3 years to really build up a championship team, but it's a great foundation, obviously, as much as it chagrins me to say that.
Okay. Here's what I think. If Harbaugh wants to make the leap to the NFL, it's got to be now. There's no point staying at U of M. If you want to go to the NFL, you gotta make the move sooner rather than later. He's not getting any younger. I feel like the window is getting smaller and smaller. If he doesn't go to the NFL next year, just stay in Ann Arbor.
I got 2 words
forever.
For you. 2 words for you.
Want to hear it?
Money talks.
Ka-ching.
Let's see. He holds all the cards now. It's going to come down to the money. Who's going to pay up? Is it going to be Michigan? Do you want Harbaugh to stay and try and repeat? Or is the NFL team going to cough it up? Dude, he's going to get paid.
I got to tell you, that's the worst approach to all of this, right? Is the money approach to you're going to be taken care of. No matter what happens, you're going to be taken care of. You're going to make multi-million dollars a year, and you're going to be able to afford the things that you want to do. Now, the meaning of rich, right, is when you go to a restaurant and you don't have to look at what's the most expensive item in the menu and then wonder if you can pay for it. He can go to any restaurant he wants. He can pay for anything he wants. And the fact that he would make a decision, that's money-based, I think would be totally foolish. He should stay in Michigan. He's got no better opportunity. Have you guys been to the city of Ann Arbor? It's a beautiful city. It's a college town. They're the weirdest people there. He won a national championship. He went to Michigan. He was a quarterback there. He's a god. He's a hero there. I would just go there. I would give it another 2 to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. See if you can win more championships. If you don't win after 4 or 5 more years, then go back to the NFL. You're always going to have a chance to coach there.
He will be here's what I think. He'll be a temporary god, because when he first got to U of M, he was a god, and then people started to question him after several years. So this will wear off one day. Eventually, fans will turn on him if he doesn't consistently produce every single year. Eventually, fans will start to forget what he did for them, and that's why I think maybe he'd be better off just moving on to the NFL right now.
Is that how you feel?
I would like him to stay. I just feel like.
But if he doesn't win again, are you going to turn on him?
I never turned on Harbaugh.
Never turned on him before he won a championship.
I never turned.
The Michigan fans are going to turn on him now?
Yes. This is what I think. If he doesn't come back again to the playoffs next year and the year after that, they're going to start going like they got.
Right.
They're a little spoiled by it. Yeah. And I will say,
time to move on.
It's called the disease of more, and it's where you always have to have more from what you had in the past.
It's happening to Saban. Look how many championships he's brought to Alabama. And now fans are like, geez, I mean, it's been a couple of years since we won a championship. What's up with that? It's like, yeah, it's really difficult to win a national championship. Like, you've enjoyed tremendous success. It's not normal. It's not sustainable. So I feel like U of M is really going to like this, but I think Harbaugh knows what it's like to coach at U of M, and that people are going to forget in a couple of years. If he doesn't sustain this level of success, people are going to start questioning, like, whoa, is he lost his edge? Just like Patriots fans turned on Belichick.
Right. You only want
he's on the way out.
Super Bowls. Come on now. It's embarrassing.
But the Patriots don't have a quarterback.
Not yet.
I don't think that's a problem. I think they have a great draft position. They could make some trades and they could get almost any quarterback they want at this point. And I think Harbaugh doesn't need a top 3 quarterback to develop. So I think if he did go to the Patriots, it would be a several year development program. I don't know if he'd maybe be able to turn Mac Jones around or turn Bailey Zappi around, but I think Harbaugh's not going to do it immediately.
If he went to the Patriots and they have the 3rd overall pick, and JJ McCarthy is projected 5th quarterback off the board, what if he drops back some picks? What if he goes back to the 10th or the 11th pick and he trades back, and then he gets 2 picks for that one, number 3? That'd be an interesting way to look at it. I mean,
that's a total Patriots move right there.
It is, yeah. But if you have a shot for JJ McCarthy at the same time, I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's a great quarterback. They might go for him. Maybe if he does go with the Patriots, they would go for him. But I don't think he's a great NFL quarterback, to tell you the truth. I could be wrong.
You know who didn't think, you know who else wasn't considered a great NFL prospect at quarterback was a guy named Tom Brady. And look how that worked out.
Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy was also not considered a great quarterback prospect.
Gosh.
It'd be a fairy tale ending.
He goes
U of M got their championship. Harbaugh rides off into the sunset towards New England.
What if he doesn't take him? What is that?
What?
He passes on McCarthy if he's there.
Depends on where he falls. I can see him trading back.
They would pass. Yeah, they would pass. They would pass on him because they have the third pick.
They would pick someone ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't trade.
McCarthy's going to be available outside of the first round, right? He's not going to be a first round pick.
Is he going to move on? Declare for the draft? Is he a sophomore?
No, I believe he's currently ineligible. I think this was his last year, so I think he's moving on. He would have to declare eligible at this point. So it would be really interesting if Harbaugh did go with him. He can scramble. I don't think he scrambled as much as he could have tonight. I think if you would have run it a little bit more when they did run with him, then he picked up a good chunk of yards. So I wish they would have run him a little bit more, but they have so many weapons on the offense as well. Just did a little research, a little digging. JJ McCarthy's only a junior now, is he, Dave? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, he has one more year of eligibility. He recently was quoted as saying he hasn't made a decision yet, hasn't thought about it too much. I think he goes back to U of M. I think he plays out one more year, maybe tries to repeat. I think his decision, he's got to declare by January 15th. I think his decision is going to be predicated on what Jim Harbaugh does. And I don't think Harbaugh's in any rush to make a decision on if he leaves U of M. I don't know what his contract states. When does he have to make a decision, guys?
If McCarthy declares for the draft, he can always, if he doesn't like where he's like projected to be drafted, can he like pull his name back out?
That's a good question. I think so.
I think he can. So anyway, I mean, maybe he wants to stay for that senior year. I'm not sure. We'll just see how those like chips would fall, right?
You're right, Dave. I think it's going to ultimately come down to what Harbaugh does first. And he's going to make a decision from there. I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, I think that's the first chips that's got to fall is what does Harbaugh do? I think I don't know. I can see if he wants to go on to the NFL and try and win a Super Bowl, that would be really tough. I mean, you're starting over then. And then
100%.
You're starting over and you're at the top of the mountain right now in college football. Mm-hmm. So how would you give that up? At least try and repeat, right?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you try and repeat?
It would take a lot of guts to do something like that, to go out on top, have the courage to say, I'm walking away from a great situation to go pursue greatness somewhere else fresh. But Harbaugh strikes me as the kind of person who'd be up for that kind of challenge.
And if he lost this game, that would be a different story. Then it'd be like, oh, man, I'm not sure what he's going to do now.
No. You know what? No, if he lost, he would stick with it till he got it. So he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would like fail and then leave. He didn't want to leave San Francisco, right? Like he wanted to stay there. He got pushed out.
Well, then their window closed. Our players, they aged out. Patrick Willis had to retire from an injury. Justin Smith had to retire. Frank Gore had to move on, and then Colin Kaepernick regressed. So, and then
he took a knee. Is really what you mean to say? He took a knee. Yeah,
he was a good player. Yeah, I think he came very close, and he went to a national NFC championship before that. He got very close to winning a Super Bowl. We all know that.
Harbaugh has been underappreciated the last couple jobs he's had, though. He was underappreciated when he was in San Francisco, and he has at times been underappreciated with U of M. So I think he remembers what it's like to have doubters in.
I don't think he was underappreciated in San Francisco.
I think he was. They pushed him out. They didn't think he wasn't doing enough.
That was okay. So that is their fault in a way.
It was a battle of egos, and
general manager Trent Baalke is not a guy you want to work with, and you have to work together like a Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch. They made it work when they had the best players, some of the best players in the league, right? But I mean, Michigan right now is. They're top dogs. So
it's a great setup. Let me ask you this, right? Would you rather live in Los Angeles right now or Ann Arbor? Right? I mean, it's a pretty good question. Ann Arbor is a weird town. Los Angeles has great weather. It's got an entertainment scene. It's got, so much to show for, obviously. But Ann Arbor, it's surrounded by a bunch of water. It's a college town. It's a very smart town. It's exciting. It's kind of electric to be in Ann Arbor, to be honest. Now, what do you guys think about Blake Corum? Where would you guys pick him? If you guys were a GM, where would you pick him in the draft?
Running backs are undervalued. That was the premises this last offseason. Running backs don't get paid. They're the least highest paid or second least highest paid position player. But, not everyone's Christian McCaffrey. I think he goes middle round, first round.
The blueprint for success as a GM when it comes to running backs is don't pay running back. Get him on a rookie contract, run him or ride him till the wheels fall off, and then find somebody else that can replace him. So I don't see many teams drafting very many running backs in the first round anymore. It's just it's more rare. I don't think Blake Corum is an early first round pick. I think that depending on where he goes as far as fantasy goes, I don't know how valuable he'd be. I can see him being part of a committee. I don't think he'd necessarily be a bell cow back. That's just not going to happen. So is a team going to give up, capital in an early first round for a guy that they're not going to use like 100%? It's hard to say.
Is he a third down back? Is he a every down back? How many catches does he make in the backfield? That's a dynamic player. So you're right. You have to be very careful with that first round pick, and it depends on your position of need.
Hey guys, I've got some producers chirping in my ear right here. We got to wrap this baby up, but should we just linger on what this means to us for another minute or so? I mean, for the state of Michigan, we haven't won any championships in a while. The Pistons haven't won in a while. The Tigers haven't won since '84. The Red Wings haven't won since 2012, and the Detroit Lions have not won a championship since 1957. Now we have to rely on our college teams to get us there. Michigan football, always in the playoffs. Michigan basketball, we are there. We've gone to the championship games. Jordan Poole was actually one of those players that got us there, helped get us there. And then Michigan State, the last championship we won was 2001. And the football team finished runner-up, about 10 years ago. But this is the first championship in Michigan, the state of Michigan, for a hot minute. Let's go. I mean,
you want to hear my prediction?
Let's hope this can turn things around.
You want to hear a prediction?
Yeah.
So first round of the playoffs, the Lions versus the Rams in Detroit. Rams are down by maybe 3 points. It's fourth down. They have an opportunity to score. And Aiden Hutchinson, inspired by the performance of his alma mater, sacks Matthew Stafford, forced fumble, scoops it up, returns it 95 yards for a touchdown. It's a very specific prediction, but there's going to be something where Aiden Hutchinson comes into play and just plays out of his mind.
You're seeing it, Dave. You're seeing it with your third eye. Give me some more. You got any more of those beautiful predictions?
I only have like one of those a day, so that's it for now.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be exciting. Let's hope, for our sake, the Lions can reach the Super Bowl. For Sean's sake, of course, the 49ers. Born in a different state, in a different time, unfortunately. We'd love to claim him as a diehard Detroit Lions fan, but we cannot, unfortunately. He's a competitive individual and a great spirit, but, we can't claim him as one of our loyal Detroit Lions fans. But this is a great thing for the state of Michigan, and it's fun.
I hope the Lions win this weekend, and I'm very happy for all the Michigan players, the fans, the whole organization, the whole football team. Those guys played hard, and it's good for Michigan. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. As the unofficial elected tourist officer of the state of Michigan, I say thank you. Dave, anything you want to say before we wrap this baby up?
I'm excited to see where Corum falls in the draft or where he lands. And I think there's going to be a lot of fantasy football players in Michigan that are going to try to get him on their team just for the homerism perspective there. But yeah, just amazing season by U of M. And I hope that the narrative doesn't turn to, well, they only won because. I feel like people are going to try to find a way to hate on U of M's accomplishments by diminishing it and making accusations towards the sign stealing scandal. And the fact that people aren't talking about it right now is great. But I think if you give it a few days, people are going to start talking smack. And you know what? They're where they are. We're where we are. I think it's the best thing to do is just probably ignore it. But you did bring up a good point Alex, earlier, how many years over under do you think it would take before something comes out where they end up vacating the championship? I say 3 years. You say like over or under 3 years?
I think you gotta say 3.5 if you're gonna say a year. You know,
You're right.
I'll say. I mean, I would go under. I'd go under at that point because I feel it's not like they're gonna let this go. I think there's people are probably
people that are not gonna let it go, and that there's still gonna be investigations, and something's gonna come up. I mean, just when you think you're in the clear, they come up with new evidence. So.
Right.
I actually agree too. Under 3.5 years, there's going to be major developments in the sign stealing scandal because they've tried to bury it as much as they could. But I feel like people that are looking for Michigan to fail, that they haven't forgotten about it, they're going to keep digging.
Let's hope not. Let's just hope they keep that natty. And, you know, that's how it is.
Have faith over Warriors.
Let's go.
Forget about it.
Okay, if you haven't already, then do like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time on the Four Birdies podcast. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.